Hello and welcome back to my channel where I like to have fun with all things beauty while being critical about what I accept into my collection. Today is a new makeup video. So this is where I go through Instagram and I talk about the new releases coming up. I use a few different resources, mostly Makeup on Your Radar, Point Click Vibes, and then occasionally a little bit of Trend Mood, but I stick to the first two mostly. Anyway, it's been a minute since I've done this, so when I started looking through this just a few minutes ago, I was a little bit overwhelmed because there was a lot to sort through. I always do these videos by only really talking about the most interesting things. I don't try to hit on every single item because that would be way too much. And I know a number of creators do this video, so I didn't want to be too redundant. I only really talk about the things that jump out to me. But the main reason I skipped so many weeks is that I didn't think there was a lot. I felt like it had been a quiet spring. Compared to previous springs where I feel like we get a lot of complexion products, a lot of new foundations, a lot of blushes and bronzers and those type of things, I feel like it's been relatively quiet. And I stand by that. I still think it has been quiet compared to even last year, but I do see a lot of shade expansions and smaller releases. So it's going to take me a minute to sort of go through these things and find out what is and isn't worth talking about. To start with really quick, I wanted to talk about what's on my eyes today. So today I pulled out my Singe Beauty Galactic Visitor. I knew that I wanted to use this palette today because frankly, since I picked it up, I have not used it enough. I did do a review on this palette and I will link that below. But in honor of their new release coming up, I wanted to sort of remind myself about how I felt about this formula, and I like it. I do definitely like it. I think the biggest problem with this palette for me is the color story, and that's kind of how I feel about the new one too. I am most likely going to pick it up. I know that we don't actually have a release date or a firm price yet because I did just see her reveal video today and she said they're hoping for mid-May and she really wants to keep the price the same as Galactic Visitor, which is $45 without shipping, so I think it wound up being like $55 for me, which is not bad for 16 shades. But with all of the insanity going on in the United States, they don't have a firm price yet. So obviously if it goes up by too much, I won't be able to pick it up. But if it stays within $10 of the original, I probably will, just really to push myself out of my comfort zone. When I look at this and I see all of the red and green going on, that really doesn't speak to me as something that is going to flatter my more cool undertone. But because it's not a color story that jumps out to me, I don't really have anything else like it in my collection. Popping in to remind people that if you own the Onsai Christmas palette from a few years ago, you probably don't need this new one from Singe Beauty. The color story, I mean, there are differences, but it's similar and the vibe, the overall tone of everything is very similar. So it would be redundant. I don't own this palette, so it didn't come to mind immediately, but I've since seen it like all over the place, people making this comparison, and it's definitely accurate. It's a very good dupe. If you have one, you probably don't need the other. I will most likely pick this up. Hopefully within the next few weeks we'll get some more details about launch, but I am looking forward to that. And actually the palette I wanted to talk about next is simply because it reminds me so much, like the vibes are so similar to me. I know that the colors are a little bit different, but the new Fantasy Cosmetica Ranger palette looks very similar. It's a smaller color story. There are only 9 shades, so it's like half the amount of shades. But this is one where I just had to make a tough call. I really love Fantasy Cosmetica. I picked up their Harvest of Souls palette last year and it's quickly become one of my favorite. I have a few singles from them. I actually have some of their fragrances that I really love from the library collection. Highly, highly recommend. I see they also have nail polish with this release. It is really beautiful and they're an indie brand that I think of similarly to Gourmand Girls, where they've actually spoken out in defense of human rights. They've made it clear that that's important to them, and I have a huge amount of respect for brands who are doing that, especially right now. I really, really, really want to support them in the future, even though I may have to wait on this. So anyway, it's available now. The palette is $38.99. The perfume, the small is $2.29. The nail polishes are $10.99 and the singles are $9.99. And you can also choose a bundle, so the palette and the perfume for $52.99 or the full collection for $92. Yeah, I mean, now that I'm looking even closer at this, I do really want this collection and I would consider picking it up in the future, but just in this exact moment, I am going to have to wait. But speaking of indie brands in general, and I know you've probably heard this from every creator who really focuses on indie eyeshadow especially, now is definitely the time to support the brands you love. Unfortunately, with all of the stuff happening, I personally think one of the purposes is to shut small businesses down and decrease the competition. But if things continue on the path that we're on, it's going to succeed and we're going to lose some of these small businesses. So I know I'm personally really going out of my way to shop small. Fortunately, I don't really shop a lot when it comes to things other than like food and basic necessities. I don't really buy a lot of clothing. I used to shop on Etsy a lot more. I don't really do any of that these days. My biggest hobby is makeup, but there are a lot of indie makeup brands that I absolutely adore, and I've always gone out of my way to prioritize them for being where I get almost all of my eyeshadow from, but I'm definitely going to go out of my way to continue to do that because even though we're all sort of bracing for impact on this, I know they are in an even more intense way because this is their livelihood on the line. So I really hope that we don't lose any of the brands that I'm talking about in this video. I'm doing a voiceover because I realize that I might sound flippant when I'm talking about any of this, and I don't mean to. It's just uncomfortable because it's incredibly sad, and I really love a lot of these brands. I've gotten to know some of the owners, and it's a sad state that we're in right now. So definitely think about your local small businesses. Always, but especially right now. But next up, to stay on the eyeshadow theme, we have a sneak peek from Nomad Cosmetics. I'm seeing a motel theme. This looks like a 50s drive-in movie type of deal. The first sneak peek features a green and blue, and then the second sneak peek we have a pink, orange, gold theming. I'm not gonna lie, this doesn't really jump out as being right up my alley, but Nomad really kills it with the theming, and I'm a sucker for a theme, whether it's a Halloween party or an eyeshadow palette. I can get sucked into the fantasy of it all with a good theme, and they absolutely get me with a lot of them. But I just spent like $400 at Costco, so I need to be careful with my money. Anyway, I'm on the fence about this so far, but the destination reveal will be this Friday, May 2nd. The color story will be the 3rd, and then the launch date is Tuesday, May 6th at 12:01 a.m. There's always a 10% off discount code. Radar10 is the one I'm looking at here, but a bunch of creators. You're probably going to see a bunch of reviews, most likely on Saturday, May 3rd. That's usually how it goes with these palettes. That never really bothered me. I know it bothers a lot of people, and I guess I would be annoyed if I was looking for a video and couldn't find one if I didn't want to see yet another review on this palette, but I feel like I follow enough creators that I just keep scrolling and it doesn't really get to me. But I do understand that a lot of people hate that. I know Nomad tends to be one of the worst culprits of all the reviews in one day brands. But anyway, I'm excited to see that. And real quick, I see here we have, it's an older release at this point, but from Look Healthy Official. I've never tried anything from them, but their shadows look gorgeous. This also has some of those green and burgundy, red, burnt orange vibe shades. So it's just interesting to me how all of these palettes are coming out around the same time. It reminds me of I think one of the Odin's Eye Christmas palettes last year also had a similar look to it, and it feels very fall to me. It's interesting how we're getting this in the spring. But anyway, an even older release than that is this from Glaminatrix Cosmetics. I'm mentioning this even though it's so much older at this point because they're one of my favorite brands and I rave about them all the time. However, I do feel like I typically do better with their singles when I pick out my own shades. A lot of these more neutrals, like I have them already. And because I already have Barely Basic, I don't know that I need this one too. Putting the two side by side, it's, no, they don't completely overlap. but the unique shades in Nearly Natural are shades that I have already from other brands. So they're not the super unique shades that I feel like I really need from them, especially since I also have Rich Romantic, one of my absolute favorites of all time. But if this had more duochromes in it, it would be a no-brainer. I would be all in. I would have ordered it already. The only reason I didn't jump on this is simply because of the redundancy. I still want it. I absolutely want it. And if this goes on sale in the future, I will be a lot more likely to pick it up. I still may pick it up, but it's not going at the top of my list as of this moment. But if you're in the market for those shades, it's one of my absolute favorite formulas of all time. And while we're at it, I'll also talk about the Gourmand Girls release that I missed, the Hall of the Sirens that came out April 18th. It's stunning. Gourmand Girls might be my second favorite indie brand. It's tough. There's a lot of stiff competition, but I love their formula. Absolutely adore their formula. I held off on this again because it's a color issue for me. I just feel like a lot of times, even today, I don't think that these are the most flattering colors on me. As much as I do love color and I love to experiment with color, I feel like when I go too dark, it just winds up making my eyes look a little bit smaller and dragging my features down. It looks a little bit heavy. The older I get, the lighter I go with my shades. I'll never stop playing with color, ever, but I do generally look for more of a mix so that I can at least have a gradient and go from light to dark. And even though this does have a bit of a gradient, it's just not quite enough. It just wasn't quite there for me. But I love their formula, and it's absolutely on my list of things to watch out for if they do go on sale. I don't know if we can expect sales realistically at this point with the market the way it is, but I had to make some tough choices. So we have the American Psycho collection from Wicked Widow that is available now. And I was impressed with this. I was interested to see what this would look like. I feel like it was teased for so long, and the palette is nice. I enjoy the colors. I think they're pretty, and I want to try Wicked Widow Beauty at some point. I just know that, again, I have to make tough choices, and this isn't going to make the list. But I think they were smart in picking shades here that would please a lot of people. You know, this is a color story that's going to work for a huge range of people, whether you like to experiment or not. Coming May 2nd at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for $48.99. We have the Dede Signature Drops of Fantasy palette, and this is pretty. This is a fun palette for summer. Oh, and it's really funny because, again, we have that really bright green next to that duochrome, which definitely reminds me a little bit of the Agate palette. But anyway, I like that there's a bunch of different multi-chromes in this. I really want to try this brand at some point, but it's gonna have to be a pass for now, unfortunately. We have a sneak peek from Rhode Beauty. This definitely looks like a spray of some kind. I would assume setting spray, but what confuses me, and one thing that I haven't seen a single creator talk about, is the fact that she's holding this next to the Apple logo. When you first see this, it looks like a splotch, like it looks like a wet spot, which is pretty gross, but whatever. That's what it looks like at first. But if you look at the picture up close at all, you can clearly see that that's a little apple symbol. So what I'm afraid of is I'm afraid that this has something to do with blue light and screens. It's been very much debunked that blue light from screens is causing significant skin damage. Blue light from the sun? Absolutely. Blue light from a computer screen, not so much. So I'm personally really hoping they don't go in that direction, because we don't need any more disinformation on the internet. Like, we've got enough. We're good. But hopefully this is just some other kind of mist for hydration, that kind of thing. That would be very on brand. Which reminds me, probably by the time I post this, the thing from Pat McGrath will probably be revealed. They keep teasing this futuristic liquid glass thing coming up, and I'm pretty sure that's a setting spray. I guess that almost immediately, but they just came out with a moisturizer along with the essence they already have, so that would make sense. A setting spray would make sense, especially for Pat McGrath. I'm going to be more tempted by the setting spray than any of the other skincare products, I think. But anyway, the moisturizer is available now, and that is $78 on the Pat McGrath website. I've looked into it a little bit. The ingredients look nice. I'm not dropping anything to buy it, but if I do see it anywhere on sale, I will probably pick it up if it's more than 20% off. Just out of curiosity and the fact that I do like the essence, so. And part of the packaging, okay, I'm an idiot. I really like the packaging of this. And I'm a sucker, so at least I know it. Just released from Haus Labs for $34 each. We have the Color Fuse Glassy Blush Balm Stick. This is going to be a pass for me. I absolutely can't with any more blushes, even though I think the colors of this is pretty. It reminds me of like a bronzer. I have too many liquid, cream, and balm blushes that I can't use them before they'll go bad, so that's going to be a pass. We have a new shade of the Lisa Eldridge Rouge Experience Refillable Lipstick, and this is pretty way too pink for me. I know that would not be flattering on me, but I really want to try Lisa Eldridge. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. For some reason, there's always been something holding me back, and I actually don't follow her at all on social media, so I don't know any of the Lisa lore. She looks like a very nice person, but I just personally, I don't have any connection to her. So as much as, especially her foundation, I've really wanted to try that for a long time. I haven't been intrigued enough to go through with it, I guess is what it comes down to. And this packaging is just all right. I know that this was a big deal when it was released and everybody was going crazy for it. I do appreciate her attempt at the packaging being the most sustainable materials. Love that, 100%. It's just the design for me. It's the style of the bullet. I get that it's supposed to be like an old Hollywood theme, but it's just not my favorite. I would love it if they came out with more options in the future though. And I do want to try the brand at some point. We have a sneak peek of the RMS Setting Mist, and I don't think we know much more about when that's coming out, but I have mostly liked the stuff I've tried from RMS. I have heard questionable things about the owner. I guess I wasn't invested enough to really look further into that, which I should if I want to buy this. But I also feel like I have way too many setting mists. During the Ulta sale, I picked up a backup of the All Nighter and MAC Fix Plus, and I'm kind of like, I'm good. Especially if I'm getting the one from Pat McGrath, I don't need any more setting sprays in my life. Something Mysterious coming from Patrick Ta on 5'3". I think that brand is in a little bit of trouble. I don't know. Maybe it's only in my algorithm, but I haven't seen a lot of people loving them lately. So for their sake, I hope that this is good. And yeah, a lot of shade extensions. I feel like there's too many. I mean that's good in a lot of ways. I rather have them do that than come out with new products that we don't need, but a lot of this is lost on me. The weirdest collab of all time, we have Charlotte Tilbury and Genshin. I don't know how to say that. I don't play games. I don't really play any games. Whether it's phone games, computer games, or real games out of a box type games. I've just never been really interested in any of it for whatever reason. But so needless to say, I have definitely not heard of this. What I first thought when I saw it was, oh, that's a pretty color purple. But then when I looked closer at it and I realized it's only the packaging. It's only the packaging that's different about this. And close up, the packaging isn't even that great. So needless to say, that's a skip. But it's such a weird collab. It's even more weird than when Pat McGrath collabed with Candy Crush. Like, at least they've been doing bizarre collabs for a while. This is one of the first ones I've seen from Charlotte Tilbury that is this bizarre anyway. Who knows? Maybe this is just the beginning and it gets even more weird than this. Needless to say, that is a pass from me. I don't think this is in the US, but we do have a Charlotte Tilbury cushion foundation coming out. I don't like cushion foundations. They don't work for me. I don't think my skin is good enough. That's what it comes down to. I know I did try the Tier and it did better than all of the cushion foundations I had previously tried, but it still wasn't good enough. And if that one didn't even work for me, I certainly will not be missing this if we can't get it. Something about the application and everything about it, it's not my thing. I really just prefer liquid foundation in general. We have lip glosses from SZA. The Not Beauty is the brand, I guess. And I mean, listen, I need more lip products like a hole in the head, so absolutely not. But I don't really get it when brands go with that, you know, not a foundation or not a perfume. Like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I mean, these are tinted. They are definitely makeup. So it feels silly to me, but I do think the packaging is cute. I like the wood grain on the packaging. That's fine. We'll see what they have to offer in the future. I see Tarte is trying to copy Rhode with the phone case holder for your lip product. I do not like these Maracuja Juicy Lips or whatever. I had one or two of them when they first came out. And like nourishing enough, fine, but they were goopy and they did that stringy thing when you would try to talk. And they melted. I didn't even take mine out. Mine melted just sitting on my desk. So it made a mess and it stained my desk. So I have a grudge with that. But yeah, it's a gimmick and it's unnecessary. So no. The Laneige Taro and Matcha lip products, I like the colors. They're pastel, they're cute, but I cannot with the lip products. Oh, I see we also have a cushion foundation from Prada. I'll be skipping that, no problem. I did try their liquid foundation and it didn't work for me. It dried me out. It just absolutely didn't work for me. Their highlighter is something I'm going to keep an eye on for reviews. That will be available in May, but I don't think I'm going to go out of my way for it. Even the eyeshadow palettes, like none of them speak to me. I don't really like the design, the layout, I don't know. I do think the quality is there for sure, but just nothing they've really come out with so far has really jumped out at me. And I guess that's it. I do see a few different perfumes here, but nothing all that unique, even though I know that we are in the heyday for perfume. Perfume is everything right now. I've even been trying a lot more than I ever did, but they are expensive, so I'm happy that none of these are really jumping out at me because I'm sure some will. But that's it. I wanted to keep it short and sweet today because I'm in the middle of editing an empties video that should hopefully be coming out in the next few days. And I really want to get back into reviews, but I'm having trouble because on one hand, I really want to focus on beauty on a budget, which, you know, self-care is not spending money. That's not really effective self-care. So I do want to fight against that. But at the same time, I want to make interesting content that people want to watch. So let me know down below, where are you at in your beauty purchasing habits right now? Are you interested in seeing all of the new things, or would you prefer to be talked out of things? That's kind of where I'm at this point. I know lately myself, I've been gravitating more towards storytelling type of content. People who are talking about beauty, but also their daily life and what it's like just being in the world right now and getting through all of this uncertainty and chaos. I do really want to work towards getting to a place where I can do get ready with me's and hopefully get more comfortable talking and doing things at the same time. Now that I have this new phone, if I can figure out how to use the camera more successfully, I may be able to set this up in my bathroom and do get ready with me's that way to sort of ease myself into it, where a place where I can see what I'm doing. But I am looking to switch up my content just a little bit, hopefully temporarily, but I don't even know. I'm not sure. Everything sort of feels really up in the air right now, but I know I'm not alone in that. And I would love to hear about what you're interested in because I'm really grateful for the community that I found on here and on Instagram, especially recently. It means a lot. And sometimes I wish that this hobby wasn't so expensive, but regardless, I'm super grateful to have it because I've met some amazing people here and I really never take any of that for granted. And if you've stuck through this video, first of all, I want to apologize because I do have a bit of a migraine, so it's hard for me to think coherently. But this was the only time I had to film this week, so I really wanted to take advantage of that. And if you've stuck it out to the end, please like and subscribe. It means the world to me, and thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it so much. I hope you're taking care of yourself right now. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.